we'll get started. Okay, Miss Annie and Violet. Annie,
Hi, commissioners. Hi, how are you guys?
great.
Good. I have myself, Annie Cathy, Andrew Chorney, Emmy Bristow, John Hart, Kyla Leonards, Melissa Fisher, Sarah Bell, Violet Plummer, Joe Dennert, Kim Bauer, MCAT. It looks like in 206, we have all three commissioners, Vero, Strohmeyer, and Slotnick. We have Allison France, Chris Lounsbury, and is that Cindy Kennedy that I see?
Yeah.
Am I missing anybody else?
No, thanks so much, Annie.
Thank you.
Well, is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? And our 14-piece consent agenda. Excuse me. Anything that needs to be pulled out or discussed separately?
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Cindy Kennedy.
Sure. Cindy Kennedy, Grants Administrator. I'm requesting that the board approve the chair to sign the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA grant agreement between Missoula County and the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation in the amount of $300,000 to partially support the Buena Vista Wastewater System Improvement Project, Phase 2. I think is our final contract. We have
Nice.
one that's going to get amended, but it's nail in the coffin.
All right.
Yeah, everything's moving forward. We had our pre-bid meeting earlier this week. We had 2 contractors join that, and then I think they'll both submit a bid. So that's really exciting. So hopefully they
great.
come within budget. We have a little shy of $2.3 million.
Wow.
So if that's not enough, I don't know what is.
Right.
Can you describe the nature of the work they're gonna do?
Yeah, so phase 1 involved installing a lift station and starting to mitigate. There were 3 lagoons out there. We got 2 of those lagoons taken care of. So we have 1 lagoon to finish removing the sludge from, and then we're going to add sewer mains to the roads in the community, and then connect each individual trailer, still providing your service lines.
It's fantastic.
And hopefully if funding allows, because we're doing this work in the roadway, we'll be able to pave the road. Because right now it's dirt and they have to spend money grading it, and they have to, they have a lot of dust issues and that sort of thing. So if the funding allows, we'll be able to do that.
Fantastic.
So Cindy, could you talk to just really briefly about the model that Buena Vista is? Because it's not
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Yes, so Buena Vista is a resident-owned community. So a few years back, I think it was about 2014, around there, the owner wanted to sell the property, and NeighborWorks Montana worked with the community and helped them develop a resident-owned community. They had to become a nonprofit. They had to do bylaws and all that fun stuff, have a board of directors. And that meant that they controlled what happened in that property. They control the rents, they control pretty much all of the fees that are associated with living there. And so this allowed them to upgrade their wastewater system. That was kind of one of the conditions of the loan. So NeighborWorks Montana, not only did they help them become a resident-owned community, they also loaned them the money. And so part of the condition of that loan was that they would upgrade their wastewater system. And so that's what we've been working with them on doing. And hopefully there'll be more communities like one of this.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. So keeping those communities in the hands of the residents.
Super great.
Yeah.
Were you in on some of that? Or was that all neighborhood?
That was all NeighborWorks, and it was before I joined the county that all that happened.
Good news.
A motion?
Sure.
Yeah. I would move we approve the chair to sign the ARPA grant agreement.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
You
Cindy.
bet. Thank you.
Okay, John Hart with Spurgeon Ranch subdivision improvements.
Yeah, good morning, commissioners. So I wouldn't expect you to recall, but last September, you approved an improvements agreement for the Spurgeon Ranch subdivision, which is a 19-lot subdivision in the Target Range area. That improvements agreement came with a promise to finish the remaining infrastructure by June 30th of this year. And the cost of that remaining infrastructure was almost $900,000. The developer has, for a variety of reasons, not been able to complete all of that infrastructure. And so what I decided to do along with the developer is just bring a brand new improvements agreement with a new estimate of probable costs and a new letter of credit. And that's what you have in front of you today. This new improvements agreement has a completion date of October 31st of 2022. And rather than almost $900,000 of estimated costs, we're down to $346,932.44. And I saw that the agenda was somewhat light this morning, and so I asked Joe Dennert from IMEG to come and explain a little bit about. I just thought it would be informative for all of us to hear about the struggle that one developer has had in this current environment. And so Joe's with us, and Joe, if you want to talk to the commissioners about this particular subdivision and what happened so that the improvements couldn't be completed by the end of this month, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me, John? Can you hear me, commissioners?
Yes.
You'll have to excuse me if I have to take a cough break halfway through. I've been drinking my body weight in tea for the past 2 days, but unfortunately, I had the pleasure of experiencing COVID recently. So I apologize in advance. But as John mentioned, yes, we had originally bonded for almost $900,000, and included with the new letter of credit and the improvements agreement, you can see the things that have already been completed. And then the items that remain total the $346,000 or $346,000 that are left. Essentially, it's not just this subdivision, but a number of subdivisions in the area are experiencing delays for whatever reason. In this case, Knife River is the contractor, and originally the sub base that was poured for the road failed compaction, and it wasn't up to county standards when inspected. So there had to be additional work and basically mitigation worked out with Brent O'Connor at Public Works and with Knife River. And we've been mediating a lot of that. At this point, we are 90% complete. If you look at the updated engineer's estimate, which has been approved by County Public Works, you can see that under road and PED facilities that are the bigger ticket items, making up the vast majority of the funds, or the estimate of probable cost, are 50% complete. And that translates to the other sections as well. For the sanitary sewer, you can see there's only one remaining item, and that's the dose tank and equipment, and that's 50% complete. And then also for the dry utilities with Northwest Energy, that's also 50% complete. There are some still permitting out for the SWIP plan. There's some topsoil replacement that Mike over there at Knife River has yet to do for the project. But the context here is, a lot of people, for whatever reason, tend to associate any delay or anything like that really with the county, but sometimes it's beyond even the developer's control or the applicant's control, and it just relies on contractors' delays with the mixing facility, whether that's compaction issues or actual bulk transportation of materials required for developing some of this infrastructure. So the remaining components for the estimated probable cost are really minimal compared to the $900,000 that was outstanding late last year in September when this was originally approved. And we believe we've made very good progress, 90% complete out here on this subdivision. And really the October 31st deadline is very conservative, just to make sure we don't have to go through this process again. We believe to finish well ahead of that schedule, but we just want to be extra careful this go around to make sure that we're not having to come back before you guys with another extension. So I hope that maybe cuts some of the questions off at the front end, but I'm also here to answer any questions you may still have.
No, that was helpful, Joe. I don't,
Just a
Yeah.
question, Joe, why did the compaction fail? Was that on the mix or was that, what happened there?
I'm not an engineer by trade, so as the planner that's been working on this since I started really at IMEG and taken over at the final plat process, what was communicated to me was, and it wasn't just Spurgeon Ranch. There was a number of subdivisions around the county at this time that had a similar issue, and it could have been from the mixing plant. There was some, I don't know if you remember last year, but there was some uncharacteristically cold temperatures that actually hit before fall last year, and that can affect some of the time that it takes for the compaction to settle whenever they pour that sub base and pass inspection. So there was a number of subdivisions that had a similar issue. Not being a structural engineer or an engineer at all, really, I think what was communicated to me was that whether it was a materials issue or a mixing plant issue, something happened where it wasn't quite up to par, and it was the responsibility at that point of the contractor to mitigate it. And since that time, our office has been working with Brent O'Connor to make sure that we're mitigating it up to county standards. And so that's why you still see some of these 50% complete on the road items. A lot of it has to do with that geotextile fabric and the 3-inch crushed sub base for those roads.
Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah, Joe, that was very helpful. I appreciate that. And, so obviously this is, not due to the lack of due diligence on the part of the developer. I wanted to make that clear to you commissioners. Getting back to the improvements agreement that's in front of you, I reviewed it. Brent O'Connor has approved the estimated costs. We have a letter of credit with sufficient contingency built into it, and I would recommend approval of this improvements agreement.
Thanks,
thank
John.
you.
The only comments I would make is I have zero love for this subdivision, and had I had my druthers a few years ago, none of this work would be happening right now, but that is not where we are today, so I'd go ahead and move that we approve the subdivision improvements agreement and guarantee.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks so much. Feel better, Joe?
Yeah, good luck, Joe.
Thank you all
thanks
very
for
much.
that, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
This subdivision was the straw that broke the camel's back and got me to decide
To
do this.
run?
Yes, I voted against it. I appreciate it.
Oh, love the full circle.
Yeah. Interesting.
The circle of life.
Is there, where are we in our agenda? Okay, discussion items?
Bitter end.
Okay, events, invitations, McLean Festival, you guys all going?
Yes, it's free, but you have to register.
It's free, but you have to register.
I registered last night.
I'm
Nice job.
doing a wedding this weekend, so no, I can't go. I'm really, really bummed because
I'm really looking into that.
Timothy Egan speaks.
He's one of my
I
favorite nonfiction
know.
writers. He's just
Ah.
the best.
What do you do when you're doing a wedding?
I'm helping plan it and I'm also the officiant.
You're the officiant.
Yes.
Okay.
How many have you done?
This will be my fourth.
8.
I've done one.
Okay, there we go. Okay. I feel like I'm maybe finished now, though.
Oh, really? Why?
Because I'm not a teacher anymore, so I don't know young people who go off and get married and then ask me to do the officiating.
Oh,
But
I didn't realize you age out of this.
Well,
Okay.
I don't have the funnel of young people still coming up.
No, this is, I've known her since she was a child
So great.
and it's
Wonderful.
awesome.
Oh,
And they've been
but-
having to
Should we
like.
let these folks
Oh,
go?
yes, yes, you're all, have a
I
great
am,
day.
I am
Goodbye.
doing